Let me introduce the new FLYSURFER parawing lineup. For this year we decided to split the lineup into two different models. The POW² with the single skin technology, and we have our latest addition to the lineup, the ZAP, which is a double skin parawing. The single skin technology only has a top sail fabric, where the double skin basically has a top and a bottom sail surface. The structure of the wing with the double skin is provided by the inside pressure, where on the single skin the entire structure is provided by the line and the canopy tension. The POW² was developed for downwind riding with a clear focus on accessibility and simplicity. The concept was to have the smallest package with the highest amount of power. The ZAP is a performance freeride product with better upwind abilities and higher top end speed. For the bridle, this year we decided to use different colors to make the entangling easy, especially out there in the ocean. We also decided to use different materials. The A-lines are made out of Dyneema, which allowed us to go for really thin line connection for really comfortable stashing. We also reduced the V connection to 1 on the A-line. So from the handle to the canopy you only have 2 line segments, which allows us also to reduce a lot of the force you need to stash the wing. So the mixer allows us to go from the bar inputs into the canopy deformation, and it basically allows us to increase the angle of attack of the wing but also change the camber. And now with the new mixer being only one line, we could go even more precise in the way the camber of the wing is evolving over the range of powering. On the POW² we have the J handle, where the focus was intuitive riding with one hand. And on the ZAP we decided to go for a straight handle, which is also a little bit longer, which allow you to be even more precise in the steering, and it's a little bit more adapted for riding with two hands. On the POW² we really wanted to keep the powerful DNA of the POW², which allowed us to get going in really light wind. We focus on having even a better connection to the wing and more intuitive steering, but at the same time we managed to reduce a little bit of the parasite movement when riding, especially on long upwinds. The POW² is a little bit less nervous on a straight line, but a little bit more responding and reactive on the maneuvers. The main advantage of the ZAP compared to the POW would be the overall riding performance, better upwind and faster riding, which directly opens up the door of a wider playground. You have access to further downwind runs. You also ride a lot more comfortable. The wing is sliding when you're riding upwind. It's a little bit less physical than single skin parawing for upwind riding. As soon as you will get really powered, this is also a wing which will be more stable. The steering is more precise, overall a little bit more fun to ride on a straight line and especially riding. I would recommend the POW to beginners to parawinging. The handling and the easy access to power really makes the POW a great learning tool. I would also recommend the POW for people that want to go in low wind riding and really like to have a small package in the lightest wind. And I would also recommend the POW for the pure downwind rider because of its compactness. Even when the wind is on the edge of the wind range, you still get really easy access to the power and you can get going. I would also recommend the POW² for people riding up and down on short runs, because the POW² is super easy to stash, and even without packing it or stashing it in a belt, you can downwind ride with it in your hand. It's also really easy to redeploy. For the takeoff, the POW² will give you direct access to power. Standing on your board, you will directly feel like the power you need to get up foiling, where on the ZAP you most likely want to ride a slightly bigger size, and you would also focus a little bit on the pumping technique to get going. until you reach the foiling state. I would overall recommend harness riding for power winging and especially on long sessions. We put the focus on both of the product lines to be ridden without any harness, and especially on the POW. I really love this minimalistic philosophy about power winging. Even though most of the time we were riding with the belt, I really wanted to make sure that the POW would be a tool you can use with no harness. When you're in the water with the ZAP, you will get a little bit of water getting in between the two surfaces of the profile, and therefore we developed a drainage system which allows the water to get out on the trailing edge and especially on the wingtip. I would recommend after big wipeouts or after swimming to get on the board to empty most of the water by pulling the trailing edge up, but then flipping the wing over, having the leading edge facing the sky, and pulling on the A that the wing inflates, and the air coming in the wing will basically pull the water out through the drainage system. On the POW², we added an extra size and we changed the size curve to fill in the wind gaps that we had on the POW². We also increased a little bit the low end by making the 5.5, which is the great light wing tool. Where on the ZAP we realized that the power generation was a little bit different. The biggest ZAP size is 6.5 and the smallest one is 3. We realized that the 3 meter double skin had a really good high end. I would compare the 4 meter POW to the 5 meter ZAP in terms of wind range and access to power. So for this new power wing lineup, we really focus on the functionality aspect of what we would provide to you. And therefore we will deliver all of the POW² and ZAP with the harness line and the power wing backpack, which is a great adventure tool. We decided to make the harness line soft to avoid any tangle and to make it as minimalistic as possible. You can also adjust the size of the harness line by moving the locks head on the 3 different positions. The harness line is quite universal. You can remove it and you can use it on any other power wing handle. We developed one backpack for all of the power wings. It's 18 liters. We added a roll top to make sure that you can fit all of the power wing sizes you want to take extra with you on the water. The idea is to have a backpack that you can ride with, so you can be out there with an additional size on your back just in case the wind is changing or you took the wrong power wing out. We added a clip to make sure you cannot lose it, which we covered with neoprene to ensure that no bridles can get caught. You have a pocket for your phone, food or tools. In the back you have a container for a camelback, and we added some mesh to make sure that the water can drain out after crash or after swimming. For the POW², we really put the focus on having the wing to collapse effortless. You can collapse all of the sizes with one hand movement. We also play with the angle and the geometry to make sure it doesn't require a lot of force. And having on top of that the smooth material and the smooth connection make it really easy and comfy to collapse. On the line length side, we reduced the lines by 60 cm on the size 4 meter, and we managed to reduce the weight for more than 100 grams on every size of the POW² compared to the POW². Overall, on the POW² I would suggest to use a slightly bigger foil than on the ZAP. The ZAP was really made to evolve at a higher wind speed and with a little bit faster rider motion. As a beginner, I would recommend you to use 20 liters more than your body weight, paired with the foil from at least 900 square centimeters to really have a stable base to stand up and get going, and also have an effortless experience in getting to the foiling state. And in my case, I'm 90 kg and I'm using a 90 liter board. I would recommend more advanced rider to use some higher aspect foils. This will allow you to benefit from the low end and the top end speed of the foils and have easy access to pumping. If you're looking for a little bit more extremity, you can use the ZAP with any foil size. You can use race foils, you can use sinkers, and same goes for the power. If you're experienced, you can definitely go for sinker boards to go for your downwind adventures. As an add-on product, we developed the escape harness, which was made for long downwind sessions. The escape features a stash pocket to store your pack parawing and be able to have your hands free for downwind riding. We incorporate some pockets to be able to store some food, your phone, any tools. We will deliver the escape harnesses with the line cutter for safety.